when he asked me.
Okay, that's why you want to withdraw your plea.
I'm trying to get my vehicle back because I can't afford to give $3,000. I'm trying to get my car back. My car shouldn't have been towed. I can't afford to give $3,000 to get my car back. My car shouldn't have been towed.
Hold on a second. Got impounded. Okay. So your car got impounded.
Let me just ask you this.
Okay.
All right. Let me just ask you this.
At the time that you were pulled over, there wasn't. You were by yourself.
Yeah.
At the time that you were pulled over, there wasn't. You were by yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. Just so there might have been something else here, but I'll just tell you what I could see based on paper. There might have been something else here, but I'll just tell you what I can see based on paper. When the offense, and specifically, I'm addressing your statement that your vehicle shouldn't have been impounded. Specifically, I'm addressing your statement that your vehicle shouldn't have been impounded, right? The offense or the stop, the date that you came into contact with the police took place, or the stop, the date that you came into contact with May 14th, 2024 on Carpenter Road. Yes, I have May 14th, 2024. So you're down by Target.
Yeah, I was down by Target.
Near Center Valley. So you're down by Target.
Yeah, I was down by Target.
Okay,
McDonald's.
Got it. And then
just looking
got it. At about 10 o'clock in the morning, right?
Just looking.
Yeah, it was about 10.
At about. Well, I'm just looking at the ticket. I'm just saying what I.
Yeah, it was about 10.
Right. Well, I'm just. So that's on May 14th. Saying what I can see when I'm looking. Okay, so that's on May 14th. Driver's license. When I'm looking at information, your license, you have an enhanced license that's valid. The information.
Yes.
Your license, you have an enhanced license that's valid. I don't know if it's a problem or not.
Yes.
Problem is, I have an issue date on that of June 18th. I have an issue date
of like when they gave me the new license
to 2024.
Is that what you asking? Of like when they gave me the new license?
What I'm saying is this.
Is that what you
I have that your license was issued. What I'm saying is this. I have that your license was issued. Now my question is this. June 18th, your birthday's in March, right? Yeah, March now my question is this. So your birthday's in March, right?
Yeah, March 10th.
Your original license that you received was on March 3rd of 2000. Your original license that you received was on March 3rd of 2000. So that license in 2010, you get a 4-year license. So in 2010, if you get a 4-year license, so 14, 18, and then it should have been 26. Which means, and then it should have been 26. Well, it looks to me, which means that the license prior to this one that you got in June, that the license prior to
I went to the Secretary of State, and they told me that someone up there made an error in 2016. I went to the Secretary of State in 2016, and they told me that someone up there made an error. I ended up taking the driver's test twice. Yeah. And I don't know why I ended up taking the driver's test twice. I don't know why someone up there made an error.
2016, somebody made an error?
Right. Yes, that's what they told me at the Secretary of State. That's why it showed up on his computer that there was 2 licenses. That's what they told me at the Secretary of State. That's why it showed up on his computer that there was 2 licenses, and he said that's what he told him was suspended. And
there were 2 or the second license.
After he searched my car. And when I told him, he came back to the squad car. After he searched my car, how do I get in the trunk of your car? When I told him, you don't have probable cause, came back to the squad car or a warrant. I don't know why you get in the trunk of your car. He went back and kept searching. Then he got the car or a warrant. I don't know why. I just wasn't responding. He went back and kept searching. Then he got. Then he said, "Well, you have 2 driver's licenses." I just wasn't responding, so I'm towing your car. He wasn't listening to me. And then he said, "Well, you have 2 driver's licenses and 1 suspended, so I'm towing your car."
Okay, so here's what about that. I'm not here to deal with that. I don't know anything about the search. He said you had 2.
Upset about that, but I'm not here to deal with that, right?
He said you had.
But in case he had a state ID, expired state ID, and maybe that's what the confusion. But in case he had a state ID,
but it's like what?
Hold on. The report indicates he had a state ID.
But it's like what?
Hold on. The report indicates he had a state ID.
Previously, you can expire at the time of the stop.
Right.
As we learned previously, you cannot have a driver's license and a state ID.
When did you get the state ID? So, okay, young man. You know, when did you get the state ID?
I lost my wallet and that one was old. That's why I was, that's why I went to the Secretary of State. I lost my wallet and that one was old. That's why I went to the Secretary of State to figure that out.
Why you went to the Secretary of State when?
The moment he told
right after this?
Yeah.
Why you went to the Secretary of State when?
I was confused. I didn't, I didn't
right
know.
After this?
And then, on top of that, when he stopped me, it wasn't like he was even asking me for any of that. When he stopped, get out the car or I'm going to arrest you. It wasn't like he was even asking me for any of that. He told me, get out the car or I'm going to arrest you.
Okay, look, it doesn't get me
If you want to be mad
anywhere
at the officer,
today
you
trying to deal with
your
your
do
motion
whatever
to withdraw. It doesn't get me anywhere today.
So
trying to
you can
deal
tell me
with
all
your
of that.
motion to withdraw. That's not going to factor into anything I have to deal with.
So
you can tell me all of that.
understood?
That's not going to factor into anything I have to deal with.
So
When did
Understood.
you get a state ID?
so
Do you know?
when did you get a
Somebody
state
made
ID?
an error. I don't know. They just
Do you know?
somebody made an error. I don't know.
Okay, let me ask you this then. You got your license because I can see it. Okay, let me ask you this. In 2000, you got your license because I can see it from here.
You would have had to go back.
2000 on your birthday.
You would have had to go back
on your
14
birthday in 2000
to renew your license
because it would have been a 4-year license, right?
Hmm?
To renew
If
your
you
license.
had done that,
because it would have been a
that
4-year
license
should have been
right.
good to 2008.
If you had done that, that license
should have been good to 2000. You're telling me that when you went to the Secretary of State, let me stop there for
you're saying somebody said they
You're
made
telling
a
me
mistake
that when
in
you went to the Secretary of
2016.
State,
yes.
you're saying somebody said they made a mistake in 2000.
And I've only ever been. Yes. This is the second time I've ever even been pulled over. I've never. And I've only ever been. This is the second time I've ever even been pulled over. I've never.
I mean,
again, I don't. That doesn't help me.
That's what they told me. They had to call HR, all types of stuff to try to figure it all out. They told me they had to call HR, and then I even had to take all types of stuff to try to figure it all out. I took a driver's test twice, and then I even had to take needed me to because someone made an error. I took a driver's test twice, and because they needed me to because someone made an error up there. I got paperwork at home for 2 days.
Yeah, but the only thing he had on him was a Michigan ID. Is that the only thing he had on him was a
Officer
Michigan
indicated that
ID?
when he ran the plate, he said there was an expired. Officer indicated that when he ran the plate, he said
when he ran
expired state ID.
when he ran his name.
Right. And he came
When
back
he
with
ran-
expired state ID and not a license.
when he ran
not
his
a
name.
license. Right. And he came back with expired state ID and not a license.
No, right. And what I'm getting at is
That was now at the plate.
no,
do you
right.
know when you got that?
And what I'm getting at
ID?
is
Do you know when you got
I ended up getting robbed.
state ID?
no, I don't. I'm not.
I don't remember. I ended up getting robbed to have it on me.
No, I don't. I'm not. What
I
about
don't
the
remember because I don't have it on
one
me.
that you? What about the one in May? The one that
expired
you,
one that the officer saw?
I'm talking the one in
You still
May.
have that one?
No.
The expired one that the
Okay.
officer saw. So
Mhm.
do you still have that one? Whether there was a mistake or not.
So
I can't say. Whether there was a mistake. All I know is mistake
this.
or not. That I can't say. All I know is this.
As Mr. Shilley was
That-
alluding to.
You can't have a state ID and a
As Mr.
license
Shilley was
at the
alluding
same
to.
time. You can't have a
So,
state ID and
whenever
whenever
you
you
may
may
have
have done it. So whenever you may have done it. So you would have had
When
about,
you
if they said
went
2016, and I'm guessing here.
So
but
this
you
may
would have
make
had
sense.
about, if they said
You
2016, and I'm guessing here, but this may make at
sense.
some point, you
may have
in
lost your license.
2016,
Or
at
something.
some point, you go to the
may have
Secretary of
lost your
State,
license.
because there would have been no reason for them to have contact with Secretary of State. Because there would have been no reason for them to have contact with you till 2018. But if they're telling you just go by the beginning of your license, fine, till 2018. But if they're telling you probably need a photo ID, fine, right? You probably need a photo ID, or you could have gotten your license replaced, but somehow or another you get a Michigan ID, or you could have gotten your license replaced, but somehow or another you get a Michigan ID. Your driver's license, the moment you get that Michigan ID, and so now what you have is you have a Michigan ID, is canceled. Right? And so now what you have is you have a Michigan ID. At whatever point prior to, which is why that time at whatever point prior to, it could have occurred between 18 that time that 22, or it could have occurred between 18 and 22. And if they're telling you 16, in that period, that's from 14 to 18. And if they're telling you 16, that's I bet you're operating. And at some point, you're operating Michigan ID. And then when the officer pulls you over, Michigan all you ID have is the, and then when the officer an expired over, ID, all you have likely when they went in is an expired ID licenses. Likely when they went in, I don't see it really isn't number attached.
Yeah, so when he said that, I was like,
I don't
that
see
doesn't
another number attached.
Well, yeah, so when he said that, I was like,
but it's not a license he's looking at. Well, it does. He's looking at, but it's not a license he's looking at. What he's looking at are two forms of ID. What he sees, he's seeing your Michigan ID, are two forms when he's running it. He's seeing your Michigan ID. He's seeing your Michigan ID a license. When he's running it, he's seeing your Michigan ID. He can't have both a license. That and so if that's what the officer saw, that and so I can understand that's what the officer saw, because you shouldn't be able, you can't have to. Can understand his whether somebody made a mistake or not, because you shouldn't be able to. I don't know. You can't have to. You can't have both. Whether somebody made a mistake or not. So then after I don't know. I'm just saying you can't have both. You go to then after the state. The stop occurs. They're going to go to the Secretary of State. You're over 18, so they're going to make you basically start again. Because at some point, so they're going to make you basically start because at some point, because at some your license, that's why you lapsed. Because at some point, period of time, your license, and that's going to be the period at which, for an excessive period, you had the Michigan.
Here's the first big reality check. The judge is basically saying your feelings about the officer don't change the law. This is a courtroom classic, emotion versus procedure, and procedure always wins.
Understand it now. You may think you have two forms of not telling you something, but I can understand it now. And the only one have two forms of ID, or that you have, and the only one Michigan ID, or that you have. But you had said you lost your wallet. Somebody took your Michigan ID. You don't have your. You don't even have your. But you had said you lost your wallet. Somebody took your wallet, so you don't have your. You don't even have your new.
They just gave me a new
Michigan ID. What?
They just gave me a new one. They just gave me a new one.
In June,
but I got it. They just gave me a new one.
But that's different. Okay, in June,
I got it in mind.
I'm not having to deal with this way too much in my life. Okay, that's different. I'm having to deal with this way too much. Had you with that's different. The expired than what one. The officer, what he had you with was an expired Michigan ID. The expired one. What he had you with different. Was an expired Michigan and having a driver's license. That's different. Than having a driver's license. But I don't know why you're that there. Maybe 16. But if something happened to your driver's license in 2016, but if something happened to your driver's license in 2016, they're telling you somebody made a mistake, you go to the Secretary of State and you wanted your license back. Whatever happened, somebody made a mistake, you get a Michigan ID. I can't say it's happened. Whatever happened, that you get a.
This is where timelines become deadly. Courts don't care about confusion. They care about dates. And once those dates don't line up, credibility starts slipping fast.
at some point, kind of moving along, living your life, doing whatever, and just looking at it from the Secretary of State side, your license, and just looking at it from the Secretary of State side, it's like you went in and said, I don't want my license, give me a state ID. You just lapsed. Is how like you went in and said, I don't want my license, give me a state ID. And then that period of time lasted so long when you were down there at the Secretary of State. And then that period of time lasted so long, you go back in. And then after you got to basically start again. You go back in. You got to basically. Does that make you happy?
Oh, no, that does. No, I understand now.
And so makes sense. And maybe happy.
Oh, no, that does. No, I understand now.
And so, and maybe so that you can sort of understand because you're bringing this up, and maybe it show you out of perspective. Okay, the officer when they run, and maybe it show you out a little bit. I now get the officer when they you don't have anything on you except an expired one. Right? I now get two things. But I now you don't have anything on come back except an expired one on you. But I now get only thing you can show on you. I don't want to say it, but the trying only to make it thing really you clear, can show. I think this is what happened when he told you that to say it. But I'm trying to make it really clear because I think this is what happened.
This is the turning point. The judge finally connects all the dots, and once that happens, the officer's suspicion suddenly looks reasonable. Question for you. If you were the officer, would you let this driver keep going?
Right? Because the numbers are going to be similar, but I see two things come up. And the only thing the numbers are going to be similar. Physically, I see two things is an expired ID. And the only thing I've got on you, which then leads me to the conclusion, physically, is an expired ID. That you didn't have a driver's license. Which then leads me to the conclusion, but for whatever reason, that you didn't have a driver's license is gone. But for whatever reason, a driver's license is coming back. But that driver's license is gone. At that point, and I'm going to tell you, even if it were being on the road, at that point, you and all of that comes back to me. And I'm going to tell you, even if it were being on the road, of you and I stop you, and all of that comes back to me. Those things shouldn't. I'm suspicious of you at that point, right? Because those it would have almost been right. Sounds crazy. It would have almost been if you. It would have almost been better if you hadn't had the expired Michigan ID. It would have almost been better if you hadn't had the expired Michigan ID. I could almost say it's got to be a mistake, right? Because at that, the moment you had the Michigan ID, I think you just have a Michigan ID. You didn't have a driver's license, but somehow. But the moment you had the Michigan ID, I think you just have a Michigan ID that you didn't have a driver's license. That's why he probably has a suspicion of what that's going on. Okay,
so
that's why he probably. I mean, I'm not saying it's your fault, but what I'm saying is, so I don't. I mean, I'm not saying it's your fault, but what I'm saying is officer's fault necessarily. Either the raising of the suspicion. I don't think it's the officer's whatever happened is either telling you in 2016. This was just whatever happened is they're telling you in 2016. It was just going to happen. Waiting to occur, and you probably walked out of there. It was just going to happen. And you probably walked out of there. A driver's license. When really all you had was a state ID driver's license. That got messed up. When really all you had was a state ID wherever that got messed up.
But he did all that. Whether he
did all whatever.
Why didn't he run? But he did all that.
He knows. Did all whatever.
Like why didn't he run my plate?
No,
he didn't
run
my plate.
He's gonna say
until after.
Not the plate.
He didn't run my plate. Even that he didn't until after. Look at none of that until like 20 minutes after. Even that he didn't look at none of that until what you mean 20 minutes after.
He knows. He has that information before he stops.
What you mean? You know how
he knows. Look, man, you can sit here and argue. I'm gonna tell you what.
You know how he didn't.
Look, you will see. They know it before. I'm gonna tell you what.
I'm asking you how.
You will see. They know it.
He ran my. I'm asking you when I have a cover over my plate. My Audi is custom. How he gonna run my plate when I have a cover over my plate? My Audi is custom.
Because you just want to be mad at the officer. Sir, and what do you listen? What do you want to do? You want to be mad at the officer. You just want to be mad at the officer. I would be mad at the officer too. Listen, if there wasn't a valid reason. You want to be mad at the officer. I went through all of this. I would be mad at the officer. And what I'm trying to tell you is you need to just chill about it. Which is the only reason I went through all of this. You can sit here all day. And what I'm trying to tell you is you need to just chill about it. Because the first question I asked you, you can sit here all day night long and try to blame the officer. The reason I asked you, because the first question I asked you, because the moment where you don't have a license, the reason I asked you, he can't leave that vehicle. Because that's why your vehicle's impounded. Have a license. Because that's the first thing you came to me and said. So that's why your vehicle's impounded. You can go argue elsewhere. First thing you came to me and said. So if you want to argue, you can go argue elsewhere. I'm here to just deal
or frustrated.
With your
I'm saying he couldn't have ran my plates. Yes, or frustrated.
How are you going to run a plate when
he couldn't have ran my plates?
Yes, he could.
How are you going to run a plate? See through the new plates that you can cover up. He can see through. That's what I'm trying to ask. Through the new. That's what I'm not understanding. When I pulled off on Carpenter, that's what I'm trying to ask.
And you're saying your plate isn't exposed
when I pulled off on Carpenter, he was coming from Texas. My plate.
And you're saying your plate isn't exposed on your vehicle.
You can order. So it can be exposed. It's the new plates. I just picked the car up. Order. So it can be exposed. I haven't driven my car all year. I just pulled off on textile. The car has been in the shop for months. I haven't driven my car all year. When I pulled off on textile,
you know what? Go ahead,
and that's what I'll do. That's what I'll do.
You know what? You go ahead and do it, but don't do it every day. That's what I'll do. Any more time to listen to you. I'm trying to. You go ahead and do it, but don't do it here because I don't have time anymore time to listen to you. I'm telling you, I'm trying to explain it to you, but you want to be hard-headed and not do it. You want to say how does it go? I'm telling you, may not like it. Everybody else may not like it. That's too bad. What's the basis for your motion? You may not like it. Everybody else may not like it. That's too bad. What's the basis for your motion?
It's fine. I appreciate it.
You're not getting anywhere. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You're being hard-headed. Because I can tell you. Why do you think I just went through all of it? You're being hard-headed. The reason I went through all of that is I can tell you exactly. Why do you think I just went through all of it?
You didn't have a driver's license. The reason I went through all of that is I can tell you exactly what happened. You didn't get a driver's license. You didn't have a driver's license because I can tell from your record you didn't get a driver's license issued to you until June. Motion to deny.
Okay, all right, appreciate it.
Motion to deny.